Welcome back
Yeah, welcome back.
to Only Facts Extra, the place where we
Extra.
talk about
Extra stuff.
controversial extra stuff and controversial topics. And remember, you guys asked for this, so whenever you see madness, you're partly to blame. We've got our own, if you just find us here, we've got another channel called Only Facts Sports. Talk about sports, mostly football, boxing. Do live streams over there and stuff like that as well. But a lot of our community asked us to come and make another channel for the extra bullshit.
Yeah.
So we're here for all the bullshit.
We all speak about the things that you don't like speaking about.
Or that you do like speaking about, but people are going to look at you funny.
Or
So you-
speak about behind in a group chat.
Yeah. This is the group chat.
This should be Only Facts group chat.
100%. We'll look at that for sure. Shane gets on to me a lot.
If you follow us, you already know.
Yeah. Shane gets on to me a lot for dating white women.
Yeah.
And my boy Kofi made a good point when we discussed this pro-black thing. He said you have to. He said
I'm
you
gonna be less pro-black now. We've got a white person. Here.
No, what?
I'm joking.
See what I told you. See what I told you about these man. You bring a white person in, their confidence just to play to the fun. But Shane gets on to me when for dating a white woman. And is it fair
I don't
to say
get onto you.
You do. You do.
I just make fun of you.
The footage,
I make fun of you.
That's getting onto someone.
I guess so.
That's the same thing. But is it fair to say, away from dating preferences, you would consider me somebody that's pro-black?
No.
You wouldn't say so?
Away from dating.
Away from dating?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, I've mentored young black
No,
entrepreneurs.
in
I've
terms
worked
of your
with
mindset, your understanding of history,
I've worked with
100%.
ex-prisoners to reform themselves. I've mentored young
Even
black
more than that, though.
entrepreneurs.
Even more than that.
The history.
You're
I educate my white friends on
Yeah,
black history.
exactly,
Like, do you know what I'm saying? I'm not somebody that I'm
You're
very much myself.
outspoken when it comes to black topics as well. You're not afraid of controversy.
I met Ricky when we both worked in a corporate environment. That's how I knew Ricky, and I would be overtly black in my corporate environment.
That's one
Do you
thing.
know what I'm saying?
That's one thing I'll say about Nick is he's one of the few black people that does not matter where the situation is.
No.
He's going to be black.
Mhm.
He's not going to be another.
Yeah, you've never tried to be white, even in a professional
Yeah,
environment.
he's
Never.
not that guy.
Absolutely not. So day one in the new Shoreditch office, they were like, "What are you getting for lunch, man? I'm getting our curry goat and jerk chicken." But you're mad stuff. What are you talking about? Do you know what I mean? But we have Shane gets on to me about dating white women anyway, and that's like a mark on my name for some people. And I actually am really surprised.
Shane Umar and that.
I'm really surprised, not the way you treat black women, and I'm really surprised
Yeah, that's true. Still.
by the reception that I've gotten. Now, I'll give you guys some background. When I was young, real quick, I moved around a lot. I had a troubled upbringing like lots of people, but I moved around a lot, so I've lived with white families. I've lived with, obviously my family's black, so I've lived with black families, but I've lived with white families, I've lived with South Asian families, I've lived with a bunch of different families, I've seen the different ways that people have raised their kids and had their families, and I've kind of picked bits and pieces from everybody to formulate what I think is a good life, and that's the life I'm trying to pursue. Whereas I guess if you're raised in a two-parent household, black household, whatever, you've got a very black and Caribbean understanding of life, and that's what you're sort of emotionally wed to, Exhibit A. Do you know what I mean? So the conversation started off...
I'm currently in between. I'm currently sitting next to two people who are kind of into interracial relationships because
He definitely is.
you two are both.
No, but he like no matter other than his recent experience, he likes South Asian girls.
So you both. So the topic
but
the topic applies to both of you. So you both have let down your culture.
So Shane's thing is interracial couples abandon their culture. Now let me just say one thing, last thing on me, because I've been talking about me for a while, so I'll open it up to you guys. Pause. But for me, it's lots of people, and I get why, because there's the Carlton stereotype. There's this thing that if you're black and you date outside of your race, specifically if you're black and you date white women, you must only like white women, or you must denigrate black women and be disrespectful of black women. For me, it's none of those things. Like I just went from the Caribbean. There's loads of sexy, attractive black women out there. There's loads of black women that I find super attractive. There's loads of white women. There's women of every race that I find attractive. I think for the lifestyle that I live in the corporate work place, there was one black girl in our office.
Yeah.
So if I'm going to work every day, I'm going to the gym every day, you guys see the apartment that I live in, the apartment complex I live in, there's not many black women here. So just in terms of me going about my day-to-day life, I mostly meet white women or East Asian women at this point. And that tends to be...
Bro, we know what you're saying, fam.
I'm
We don't need to get to that. You're forgetting what channel we're on.
Get into the bullshit.
I don't need the Ed Miliband speak.
Get into the... Go on. Talk there.
It's very straightforward, bro. Your wife and your family represent who you are.
Correct.
Point blank, period. And in my opinion, I don't want anybody other than a black family That's the only thing I want. That's the only thing that I've ever. That's what has to represent me. More than anything, everybody would want to believe that their wife and the person who they settle down with is the pinnacle, right?
Yeah.
So that means for them. Yeah. So that means a white woman is a pinnacle for you.
Not necessarily.
It does. What do you mean? Of course it does.
The thing is, with black people, we have in our culture an obsession, and it makes sense why, given our history and our very recent history. People try to make out that it was a long time ago. It's very recent history with race. That's where we start. When you're around other people, and they will say like the race didn't come into it. Like I met Nick and he was funny or he was charming or whatever, and then like being black came later down the list of things that I know.
Being black comes first because that's what you see. What are you talking about?
So that's what I was going to say. That we as black people, basically, I'll be honest with you, when people say that, we just don't believe them. we just think they're lying. But I've got a lot of people I'm very close with who swear blind that literally is not how they think. That's how we think. But I get why you wouldn't believe them, but they swear blind. That's not how they think.
But forget culture, because you come from a completely different culture.
Yeah.
Specifically around race. If you end up with whatever race of woman, let's say you end up with, you say you like Asian.
Yeah.
So you end up with an Asian girl, you end up with a white girl, and I end up with a black girl, yeah.
Yep.
You cannot tell me that you're pro-white. You can't tell me that, and you can't tell me that you're pro-black. Both of you can't tell me that. The only person who can I might do other things that makes me not pro-black, but instantly that disqualifies you from being pro.
That's why I struggle, because if you and I live in the same lives, yeah, we're both making good money, we both take care of our wives, both take care of our kids, both have a dog, both have a nice house, both have a good career, all that kind of stuff, and it's even. And my girl is white and your girl is black, and you want to say you're more pro-black, cool, 100%. But if I am doing a lot of stuff in my life to enhance and build the black community, other than having black children with black
That's
women.
the most important thing, though.
Stop.
That's the most important thing.
Stop. And then you're comparing me to somebody else who is actively detrimental to the black community, not you, just a random person who might be in the black community selling crack to people, having various baby mums, having children that they can't support and all the rest of it. How the fuck can that person be more pro-black than I am?
They're not.
That was the original argument we had.
They're not more pro-black than you. You're both not pro-black. You're both.
But there's still a scale. Even if you are at the top of the scale, there's still a scale between the two people.
If you're doing yes or no, you're not pro-black. There's a yes.
I'm not doing a yes or a no. I'm saying who's more pro-black. So if I happen to fall in love with somebody who isn't black, let's say she's East Asian, yeah, you think that I should, to be pro-black and to support my community,
you don't have to be pro-black.
I want to. I should not be with somebody that I love and go and find a black woman I potentially don't actually love and make a household with her where the love isn't genuine. How does that make any sense?
I would tell
and then raise my children in a house with no love.
I would tell you to choose the side of not being pro-black, because that wouldn't make any sense.
So let me ask you both two questions. What is English culture?
Fish and chips, fighting at the pub, beer, football, loving the queen, shagging the flag.
And that goes for men and women, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. So having been with somebody from a different culture, I am in favour of white Englishmen experience different cultures, and if that means you being with someone from Jamaica, India, Spain, Colombia, any of those countries, even the Netherlands or Germany, go do it. Because it will open your mind, big time, your palate.
You have to be careful.
Big time.
You have to be careful.
My man is using culture and experience to justify fucking bare things.
No,
he's just like
no. He also said open. Yeah, so you have to be careful when you're talking about opening.
Yeah, real talk.
Your level of opening is different.
You become a much well-rounded person in terms of your experiences of food. If you just date Becky, Chelsea, Lucy,
the whitest names ever,
all from Chelmsford, what are you going to experience? A chicken tikka masala and Jamaican food from a van by a white person in Chelmsford.
Yeah. Rice and peas with green peas. Yeah.
There you go.
So that's why I'm like, I'm in.
But then I would then say that you're not pro-white.
Forget about pro-white and pro-black. Who contributes more? If you've got me and you've got this other person, this archetype that I made up of someone who's trash, I contribute to the culture.
Facts.
Even if you want to say I'm not pro-black, I contribute to the building of this culture.
Fair, but the reason why I don't want
various men who do not contribute to the culture.
The reason why I don't want to use you as an example is because other people are watching it who are in a interracial relationship, and I don't want it to be about black. I want it to be about anyone who is in an interracial relationship. That's why I'm not. You're isolating yourself. There's a hot.
Because this conversation started with us like
I know.
6 months ago.
I hope.
Even when I first met him, he would make the same. In fact, he does it now. He makes the same. That you cannot find a stream that we've ever done. It started with the Chris Eubank thing when we were at Andres' studio and Jermaine's studio. You cannot find a stream that we've done in the last year and a half where he hasn't made a joke about me and a white woman.
Yeah,
he does it every week.
It's a kind of our personal joke.
Yeah.
Keeping it all the way 100. I hope thousands of people see this, and I would want the thousands of people who are in an interracial relationship to know that, firstly, some of the best relationships that I know are actually interracial.
Yeah.
But just know that you've made a choice. You've made a choice to prioritize self, which I agree with. Mm-hmm. Prioritize self. And you've turned your back on your culture and your race.
Turn your back, I think, is extreme.
Yeah, I don't think they turned it back.
Turn your back is extreme. There's mad other things that I can do for the culture.
Bro, I don't know about that, bro. You've got the most important thing you can do as a pro white person or a pro black person is increase the population of that population.
Okay, so let me give you a scenario. I move to your road, and let's just say I'm one of the only white people on your road, and I start dating a black girl. I move into a black girl's house. Is that whole road gonna have the same mindset as you? That girl was let down her culture.
Probably not. But I will. but here's the thing. I don't look at you guys as just because you let down your culture. There's not a negative connotation to that. It's just
of course it is. Letting down. The phrase you went to journalism school. Letting something down is literally a negative thing.
No, but sometimes you have to let down your culture, innit? Sometimes you have to.
When you let down Jamaican culture?
When they currently, as it currently stands, Jamaican culture is heavily on bleaching and scamming. I ain't got nothing to do with that.
I wouldn't say that's Jamaican culture. That is something that's happening in Jamaica. Culture. This is the other thing as well. When you say letting down your culture, culture is a moving target.
Facts.
It
should be letting down the race.
Letting down your race, because Jamaican culture. There's Chinese people in Jamaica.
Facts.
There's a bit. They're part of Jamaican culture.
Facts.
Black people in England are part of British culture.
Yeah,
I'm saying they're not necessarily part of white culture because that's separate, but we're a big part of British culture. Culture is a moving target. That's why I don't understand.
That's true. No, that's true.
You know what I'm saying?
That's true. And I would say from a cultural perspective, I would say culturally, you definitely contribute to the cultures, what it takes to be black.
That's all.
Or you could contribute to what it takes to be white. But I believe as a race, as a people, you've turned your back on your race.
What is that the same? Do you have different scales of that depending on what race you are? Because, for example, if you're Maori, that's a very small niche race. Hold on. But if you're South Asian, there's mad South Asians. We don't need more South Asians. We have too many South Asians, and there's too many of them. Not too many, but I'm saying it's not that deep. Like if an Asian girl steps out of her race and has mixed race children of a white man, it's not that deep, bro. We have infinite.
But can I go back to my original point in the sense that for me, my woman has to be the pinnacle in my eyes. For anybody else's, in my eyes. Mm-hmm. And the fact that you've personally gone out of your way to say that your woman, the pinnacle of...
You haven't necessarily gone out of your way.
Okay.
You haven't necessarily gone out of your way.
Subconsciously, you might have done it. The fact that maybe you're subconsciously not... It doesn't make a difference. The fact that you've made the decision that your woman is not going to be black, for me, instantly disqualifies you from being pro-black. Instantly. Because you've literally now said a white person or an Asian person is now the pinnacle for you. A white woman or black
I could fall in love with a white woman
and
who is the perfect woman for me, but then we could both support the black community in their development.
Bruv, that's not my point. You believe a white woman is at the pinnacle.
Not necessarily. In fact, most people, if we're keeping it all the way real, most people do not marry the woman that they think is the pinnacle. They don't.
It's very true.
That's fact.
But
most people don't marry their
world. In an ideal world.
Most people don't live in an ideal world. Most men are not.
So you're just marrying again because that's what's left.
Most men that are married to a woman would fuck something else, given the opportunity. There's something that's better looking. There's something that's, even if it's just a different flavour, there's just something that's different. They could cheat on a black woman with another black woman. That's regular.
Me and Nick have had this chat loads of times. Like, very rarely does a man marry a 10.
Very rarely.
And I can promise
you. So when he sees a 10, he's like, rah.
Most men look at a 10, I want to fuck a 10.
I want to fuck that 10.
Do you want to marry a 10?
No. Who wants to marry a 10?
No one wants to marry a 10.
That's trash.
No, but I'm not talking about looks. I'm talking about how.
You are talking about looks. You are talking about looks. Is it possible for me to marry a Chinese woman and have a Jamaican household?
No.
What if she's Chinese Jamaican?
You said Chinese woman, bro.
Okay, Jamaican Chinese.
What do you mean?
A Chinese, like the Chinese race, but 3-4 generations in Jamaica.
But she's not black. So
That's not what I asked. I said Jamaican. You just said
Yeah,
Jamaican.
you can have a
Jamaican house. There'd be a fully Jamaican
that's
household.
Cool, that's fine. But I'm talking about black.
That's not what you said.
The topic is about black, bro.
I'm just following the sentence that you just said.
Bro, I'm talking about race, and I'm saying the fact that you have a white woman, or if you're in your situation, the fact that you have a black woman, that means you are deciding and choosing and saying that the woman who I want to spend the rest of my life with, and the best candidate for my wife is not my own person. You cannot support your own people, bro. How? Because you instantly see another race as the pinnacle, bro.
You're not picking the person based on race. You're picking black women because they're black. He's not necessarily picking.
That is the first and has to be the first criteria for me.
That's the first criteria for you. Most people don't live like that.
Black is what? So you are basing it on look, because you said it's the first thing.
Facts.
So you are basing it on look.
And you also consider some biracial people who are half black, right?
No, I don't.
You're lying. You're lying.
I don't.
You're lying.
You know what?
Stop. You changed that recently.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know why? Because I learned and I learned. When Nick broke it down to me, that's 100. Nick explained.
My mother is from
true.
my father found him. My father's ancestors found themselves in Jamaica through slavery from West Africa. Where exactly we don't know. My mother's family found themselves in Grenada from South Asia. So I'm 50% black and 50% Asian. Now
no, that's different, bro. That is so different.
I'm saying genetic. I'm saying genetically. Yes, in the Caribbean we have our own culture, and we're Caribbean.
Forget culture,
go on.
bro. I'm talking about because
if I died and they forensically looked at my bones and my body and all the rest of it and looked at my DNA,
they'll look at you as a melanated individual.
They would not see me as a black man. Not the same way that they would see you as a black man.
Bro, the reason why what you're saying is because there's a whole entire variety of what it takes to be black, bro. You've got people within Africa that's never had any white influence that look completely different to each other.
Agreed. So, I'm not talking about skin tone now. I'm talking about in the
about bone density.
Yeah.
Bro. If
they do an Ancestry.com's, part of my ancestry is going to go back to South Asia. Some of them African, man. None of their ancestry is going to go back to South Asia. It's just in Africa.
Okay, but you're saying that to be black you can only come from Africa. That's a lie.
That's not what I said.
So why are you using Africa as a you
just spoke about the guy from Africa. You just brought it up.
What person from Africa?
Did he just bring that up? He just said there's people all over Africa. Just play it back.
Yeah, of course.
So I'm saying even away from skin color, if they did Ancestry.com on that person,
fuck
it's
Africa
all
then.
Okay, fuck Africa then. Fine.
Fuck Africa. Around the entire globe.
Yes.
This is what you're a person who you do what a lot of English people do, and they define black as if you're West African. That's what you do because it has certain bone density or certain physical.
You can be East African and be black. You can be South African and be black. But
do you consider Malis as black?
Which Malis?
Somalians, bro.
Oh, Somalis.
Yeah, you consider them as black.
I don't think about them. If they consider themselves black, I'm not against it.
Bro, I'm talking about from a genetic perspective. Do you consider them as black?
Yes, I would say so.
Okay then. So my point is, but do they have the same bone density and physical structure? Okay then. So you can be from South Asia, which you are from far down the line, very far down the line, and obviously you're gonna have bare mix-up, but still be black, bro. What you're talking about is migration, bro. That's what you're talking about. You're talking about people who have migrated to different parts of the world.
But I'm saying, just last week,
Last week, me
and you had a conversation, and you said if somebody's got a black mother, or was it father?
I'm more referring to culture, but yeah.
Yeah, somebody's
more
got
referring to culture.
Right, okay. Not like a genetic thing.
No, I was more referring to culture.
So you now don't consider, because before, last week, you considered people that were biracial, a lot of them, to be black. If they were half black, half something else, half black, half white, half black, half Asian.
They're not black.
So do you consider me black?
Yeah. I consider you black. Bro, you're not half anything. You're talking about coming from a specific region.
Yeah.
3,000 years ago, when
it's not 3,000. It's like 150.
150 years ago, where if we're keeping it real, the people that are from that region already but not even just that, they already have black influence in terms of physical structure anyway.
Yes.
And then it's even diluted even further, and then definitely when you get with a black.
So how far back are we diluting it? If we're diluting it all the way back, then the white girl that I'm dating has black influence all the way from.
No, we're not.
So how far back are we going?
Bro.
All people come from Africa. If we want to go far enough back, Ricky's from Africa.
But Ricky's not a black man, is he?
No, he's not.
So what are we talking about?
I'm just saying, how far back do you want to go?
You're being stupid, fam.
No, you're being stupid.
You know why he's doing this? Because you have accepted that you don't want to be. You accepted that you're not pro-white. You've accepted that. You've accepted.
I am literally neither pro-black or pro-white.
Being pro-white is different to being pro-black, though.
Yeah, it's a very different message.
It's a different message.
It's a very different
message.
Bro, you've accepted the fact that you're not pro-white.
Damn.
Have you accepted the fact that you're not pro-black?
No.
Okay then. That's why you're upset.
No, it's not even just I'm upset. It's not even just I'm upset.
There's reasons why I'm not pro-black, and I do
Genuinely.
things to black girls that I shouldn't do.
No, but genuinely, like, if there are reasons why you might, if that's one reason, if that's the kind of stuff you're supposed to do with the other races. But if you're saying like you're marking me down based on that, then that's fine. But you're just disqualifying me completely, which means that for someone like me that could offer a lot, it kind of makes you think, well, fuck it. If everybody else had your view, you're just one person. But if everybody else had your view, I'd be like, fuck it, let me not bother. There's mad.
I wouldn't. If
there's mad people.
Like, you don't. Yeah,
There's mad people that are black icons that are seen as black legends and icons and people that have pushed the black culture who are mixed race and biracial and have white blood in them. You know what I'm saying? Malcolm X is mixed. Bob Marley is mixed. These men are mixed.
There's a lot.
So I want to ask you something, both of you. We just said there, pro-white is very different to pro-black. Right?
Mm-hmm.
What does pro-black mean? Answer individually. Don't cut each other.
You go first.
Pro-black to me is looking at the state of. I look at the GCSE results of black, specifically Black Caribbean. Mm-hmm. Last week, test results from primary school came out, and Black Caribbeans were the lowest, especially Black Caribbean boys. So for me, it's not about black people being better, but it's that since we've been freed, we've come a really, really long way, especially since I've been to the Caribbean, seen it, we've come a really long way. But there's a long way for us to go, and there's a long way for us to go culturally. And I think I clash with a lot of my culture because they see critique as distance. I'm not distancing myself from being black. If I love a culture, I can critique the culture.
Right.
Some people have the same view. Some people have the same view as white people, where if
that.
you critique the Queen or whatever, it's like, oh, you're not really English then. It's like,
right.
well, I can critique England because I want it to be better.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? So that's my view. So pro-black is that I have a
My
focus.
I
have a focus in my life of building and developing the black community and the black culture.
Okay.
Being pro any race is believing in every walk of life, pushing that race forward. So being pro-black is in every walk of life pushing black people forward. That's what for me being pro any races, and being pro-black means in every walk of life pushing black people forward. That doesn't mean pushing another race down.
Okay.
It doesn't even mean, it just means pushing my race forward.
And what does pro-white mean?
I just said I believe that's the same thing.
Okay.
I believe pushing white people forward in every way,
Shape or
way possible.
And pro-white for you?
God damn. I've never thought about this before. I guess it could be the same, but I guess the question would be why you would need it, given that white people globally hold quite a lot of power. Yep. So trying to push for more power almost seems greedy. You individually might not have power, but white people globally have a lot more power.
So for me, pro-white, I couldn't even tell you what that means.
Yeah.
Because the media and wherever else you decide to see the word pro-white, they think ultimately racist. That's what gets tied to that.
You know what? But I can tell you why. Because in history,
that's the history of it.
That's
the context of being pro-white meant at the expense of other races.
It did. Yeah.
Whereas being pro-black never meant at the expense of another race. And that's the difference.
Yeah, that is the difference. And I've never been pro-white, and I never would be pro-white. But it is interesting when people say pro-black, pro-white, it's like pro-white is taboo, because every white person deep down inside knows what that comes with.
Yeah.
Like you said. But if I was white though, I've said this so many times, if I was white, I would be pro-white. I would be a person who's there for the advancement of my people. Bro.
So but based on what you just said a minute ago, so at the disadvantage of other.
No. It doesn't have to be. White people just decided to do that. That was just decided to do that.
They did,
You didn't have.
They're not manual labour, man.
Literally, you didn't have to do it.
All these men do is look for next man do the manual labour. The blacks, then it was the Asians, the East Europeans. These men will not pick up a brick.
Now it's AI.
Yeah. Robots in the warehouse. These man.
You man done it to the animals, but yeah, they're flipping horses and all of them.
These man, yeah, big man too. But yeah, let us know what you guys think about the culture. If you are dating somebody outside of your particular race, are you abandoning your culture? Do you have a responsibility to your culture or to your race? Whichever way round you see it. Obviously, I disagree with Shane. I think as a black man, the best thing I can do, the best thing I can put forward, the best role model I can be to other black men is for me to be happy, healthy, and all that kind of stuff. Do you know what I'm saying? It's not even you're making me out to be some mandingo. Do you know what I'm saying? Just
Snow bunny in it, bro. Trust me.
You referred to a man as a snow bunny the other day, so let's not even do that. Let's not even do that. that was wild.
Here's the thing,
There's no rebuttal for that.
There is. I don't have sex with snow bunnies. You do, so it's fine. I use
the fact that you think that's an excuse to call another man.
Because a snow bunny woman and a snow bunny man is the same thing to me.
Have you ever heard of a man being referred to as a snow bunny?
I don't know, bro, because I don't know what people use snow bunnies for.
It's funny you said.
I just use them for the same purpose.
We're coming to another topic you don't know a lot about, so don't worry. We're coming to it. Like the video, subscribe to the channel. We've got more wild content coming for you guys as well. But
this is actually quite mild.
Let us know what you think.